The Crescent Moon Axe is the most overlooked weapon in Elden Ring. I can't tell you how many times this weapon has been aimed at my head as I ran through Stormveil Castle, and I haven't even bothered trying to farm for it. And now, thanks to a comment recommendation from someone I can't remember the name of because my mind is filled with the anime vampire game, I used it in a full max New Game Plus run, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. As I mentioned, we can obtain this weapon from Stormveil Castle. It is a somewhat rare drop from the taller Exile soldiers, but have the Silver Scarab Talisman on, and keep going through the main gate to clear them out. In only a few minutes, you should get the weapon to drop. The moveset consists of chopping R1s and heavy R2s. In smaller attack windows, I use the rolling R1s and the standard R1s. It being a large weapon, the heavy jumping attacks are great, but being a great axe, the charged R2s are the highlight here. This has the alternate Great Axe heavy attack, which somewhat annoyingly has your weapon start in the ground at the initial windup, but eventually stops clipping into the geometry and slams on your enemy for thousands of points of damage. Of course, even on Max New Game Plus, I was dealing poise damage aplenty. To accentuate said poise damage, I used an Ash of War to make it even better. Cragblade is a weapon buff that does two things. First, it adds some physical damage to your weapon. That's great since the Crescent Moon Axe on quality infusion deals only physical damage, and adds more poise damage to your attacks. If this was in New Game or New Game Plus, I'd be shattering poise like it was nothing and near on stun locking these bosses. And yet on higher New Game Pluses, where poise damage received is reduced, you'll still find yourself landing plenty of critical hits. As for the spells, I didn't use any. Much like the Milady build from 3 weeks ago, this was another quality infusion, and I wanted to invest as many points into strength and dexterity as I could. When you think of the weapon type Great Axe, you usually think of strength, and that is a perfectly fine route to take. You can do a heavy infusion on this, and invest some points into Faith for Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. For this run, I wanted to focus on my Crag-bladed weapon. For our playstyle, we only have 2 buffs, so to use them in descending order, drink the flask first, and then buff your weapon with Cragblade, as this lasts only 1 minute compared to the flask lasting 3. Open up the fight with a charged heavy attack to reduce enemy poise right away. You'll soon find them poise broken and receptive to yet another charged heavy attack for even more damage. Light attacks are fine if you can't sneak in a charged heavy, as Cragblade boosts the poise damage on all of your attacks. And if you need to tank a hit, this build uses 60 Vigor and the Scaled Armor set, as we have more than enough stamina to medium roll with it. Feel free to hold down R2 and power through it. The question that I want to ask you all this week is, which weapon have you been overlooking? The Crescent Moon Axe was, of course, the one for me, but there are a few other weapons I overlooked for far too long. 2 somewhat recent examples that come to mind are the Michelin Knight Sword and the Erd Steel Dagger. So let me know which you have been ignoring down below. The video this week is also sponsored by my upcoming novel, Follow the Gleam, launching March 25th of this year. Upon release, I will update the description down below so you know where to find it. And for more Souls-like build videos like this, every single Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, be sure to like and subscribe to ThejerseySide. Our talismans for the build were the 2-headed turtle talisman, for better stamina regeneration, the 2-handed sword talisman, for 15% more damage with the moveset, the Dragon Crest Great Shield, for 20% more physical damage negation, and the Axe Talisman, for more powerful charged heavy attacks. Our tiers for the build were the Opaline Hard tier, for 15% more damage negation, making us even tankier, and the Spiked Crack tier, for another buff to our fully charged heavy attacks. Our stats at RL 170 are 60 Vigor, 10 Mind as Cragblade is cheap and we only need to recast it every minute, 35 Endurance, 54 Strength, since we are two-handing, that will lead us to the soft cap of 80, and 65 Dexterity, as we will invest all the remaining stat points in here. The Crescent Moon Axe is overlooked, simple, and the exact build I needed at this moment. Sometimes it's best not to overthink things, buff your weapon with the Ash of War, and go in there with light and heavy attacks. I needed this because Code Vein 2 has completely dominated my mind with the insane spell casting in that game. I must have been mispressing buttons in Elden Ring for half the run here, as all the button presses in Code Vein 2 are now drilled into my mind after 45 hours. But even with that, Crescent Moon Axe was so good, still a pretty easy run. So despite being overlooked for so long, it's a weapon I can recommend to you.